How's it going, everybody? So we're back talking It Welcome to Derry, episode 4. Believe it or not, we are basically about the midway point through the season. Admittedly, last week was my personal weakest episode so far this season. Episode 4, though, I do think is marginally better. As impressed as I was that it seemed like the kids actually did get photographs proving everything, you kind of felt even before we got the reveal in the police station, it was a little bit too good to be true. Funny enough, Pennywise was the only one that actually did show up in the photograph. Something I forgot to touch upon back in episode 3 was this new friendship that Lily has blossomed. This woman from Juniper Hill. How this woman keeps bringing up her father in conversation. I am really leaning more towards her actually being Bob Gray's daughter, aka Mrs. Kirsch. For what it's worth, a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that they're still new to Derry. It makes me happy that both of Will's parents actually care about whatever mess Will has got himself wrapped up in. They may not fully grasp just how terrible the situation that Will is in. They don't know about Pennywise just yet. We as the audience, and to a degree Will, are aware of the fact that the reason why Pennywise has not killed most of these kids largely is because he's toying with them, buttering them up, so to speak, making them more terrified before eating them. Doesn't mean exactly the majority of these kids are safe by any means, but you know, we gotta stretch this out a little bit. We can't just have everybody die right off the bat like in episode 1. Maybe it's just me, but Will's fishing trip that he goes on with his father definitely gave off Friday the 13th vibes. It shape-shifting into a burnt-up version of his father is ominous enough alone. The unfortunate part of the matter, especially when you factor in what he says to Will about he'll burn too, it's some pretty horrible foreshadowing for what's to come later this season. Part of me really wanted to be happy about Dick Halloran and his buddies fixing up this new place for them to hang out and set up a bar. Without question, what we're seeing here, this is the beginning of the creation of the Black Spot. Sadly, this place has a very tragic, fiery future ahead of it, so actually having to witness seeing it burn down this season, that's going to be very traumatic. The aspect I'm most curious about moving forward, though, with this Black Spot incident is how much are they going to adapt from the book, because they definitely have to move some things around with Will and Leroy's involvement. There's a certain aspect to its involvement in the Black Spot, something he transforms into, that if they keep that in here, it might look a little absurd, but it could be horrifying at the same time. Now, I don't think Lily necessarily is crazy by any means. Maybe, just maybe, we should just listen less to her ideas. I mean, we've made it through her idea that we're going to go take pictures of it and prove that he's actually real. Now we've escalated it to her getting drugs, taking them whenever they feel scared to try and subdue it. What are we doing here, man? This is insane. Once we had the trailers drop for this series and we saw some footage of later episodes, speculation really ran rampant on why exactly Marge all of a sudden has an eye patch. Gotta admit, the reason for why she's wearing an eye patch certainly caught me off guard, and it was pretty gross. There was some pretty great foreshadowing ahead of time with the snails in the video they were viewing in the classroom. Even if necessarily Marge has not been a great character all around, she's been very mean to Lily. In this instance, I did start to feel a little bit horrible for her. I figured she was gonna get karma in one way or another, but it really steps up his game, turning her eyeballs into the throbbing snail eyes we saw. All around, downright disgusting visual. The CGI effects in this show are very hit or miss. Had they just left it there with her throbbing eyes, that would have just been terrible enough. Then they had to go and throw in that she goes and tries to saw her eyeballs off and just makes me gag the entire sequence. Definitely makes me wonder if Marge is going to actually survive all of this, since she was dramatic enough to just go and stab her own eye out. This section with Marge and the Halloran stuff with Daniel are my two favorite sections of episode 4. Halloran is one of the best parts of this show. Getting more insight into Halloran as a character while also getting to see him use his abilities. Like in this instance, he uses this shine to go into Daniel's mind to gather intel on where exactly its lair is, which in turn gives us something that we have been looking forward to, and that is a clear picture to its origin story. Probably another thing I should have brought up by now, but he gets more screen time as the season goes on. The actor that plays Daniel, this is actually the second thing he's been in this year that's revolved around Stephen King, as he also played a character earlier this year in The Long Walk. Plus, the movie itself is just phenomenal. There's been so many different Stephen King adaptations this year. Like, I just reviewed the Running Man if you want to hear my thoughts on that. Framed through Taniel retelling Rose the Native Americans' history with it, we get the full visual of it crashing down to Earth, and the Native Americans are actually able to protect themselves for a while due to them carving out a weapon out of the star that he came down in. Unfortunately, in a tale as old as time, settlers had to go in and ruin things. It eats all of them, and because he eats all of them, he has become too powerful for the Native Americans to manage. You gotta love that no matter what within this universe, it doesn't matter if it's present day or the 60s, always it's just a ragtag group of kids that love to venture out into danger. For all my Avatar fans out there, you might actually recognize the actress, since this is the same exact actress that plays Katara in the Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix live-action series. A detail that kind of caught me off guard was the forms that it takes in this sequence taking on the Native Americans are a little bit different than what we saw in the flashback in It Chapter 2 when Mike shows Bill all of the history. To be fair, I guess the one big close-up on Pennywise's face looks almost identical. Still, it's really cool that he goes and turns himself into this awesome-looking giant moose. The transformation into this Ben Franklin-looking settler with an evil baby popping out of his chest, how am I not supposed to find some of that just inherently silly? Regardless, if you were ever curious why Pennywise doesn't just leave Derry, the Native Americans trapped him here through burying 13 shards of his asteroid around the town acting as pillars. I even love the attention to detail that these pillars are buried within turtle shells, since we've had so many different return-related Easter eggs. That inevitably does lead Halloran finally gets his answer on where exactly its lair is, and where else could it be but the house on Neibolt Street. I'm sure there are still plenty of people out there that are disappointed that we have not seen a whole lot of Pennywise. For me at least, I'm enjoying them filling in the gaps as far as the origin story, since this is a prequel after all. When you get a chance to check out It Welcome to Derry episode 4 though, share your thoughts down below. What did you think of the episode? Did you like the episode? Did you not like the episode? Do you have any thoughts or theories we're going to go after what you saw in episode 4? Thank you guys. As always, chat videos, I always do appreciate it. Make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel so update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.